leave and in wheelchairs, go to an ambulance, come and get them at Granite. This guy brought a bunch in, and I went over to see Uncle Charlie, my friend, and I took a joint so big that you could cut it in 12 pieces because we smoke out of a can, Coca-Cola can in there, whatever, it happens to be, Mountain Dew or whatever. Poke holes in the top and on the side and breathing apparatus. And before I could ever do that, they was just giggling at each other and giggling, and I'm thinking, what's wrong with you two guys? They said, you want to try some of our stuff? Deuce? And I said, Deuce? What are you talking about? Well, I didn't know, so here's what I did. This was called Diablo or something.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, I took a hit like it was Maui Wowie, like it was the best Hawaiian. I didn't know what this stuff was, so I took a hit. It buckled my knees before I could let it out. And I ended up taking one more after I sat there. And then all I could remember is the cell number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had to be in 6. And who are you? And why am I here? And then then I fought it for, they said it was like I was over 2 hours at Uncle Charlie's. Felt like I was there 15 minutes. And then they said, yard closed, yard recall. So that's when you got to go back to your cell, and I had to have help. And the guard was standing there trying to lock the gate. When they was bringing me in, he said, what'd you take, Evans? He said, what'd you take, Evans? And I said, I don't know, I don't remember. They just took me in there and sat me down at the table, and they locked the door, but I wasn't in my cell yet. I was just sitting out there at the table, and I sat there till that guard, boy, it's a good thing. It took him a while to get around there to locking us down because I couldn't hardly make it. And it was K2. And boy, I won't never do that again. And they'd mix it over there in weed, mix K2, but I'll never do that again. And I don't never do this stuff called Lovely or Whack or Sherm. They call it. It's a dip.
Oh yeah.
Lovely, Whack, whatever. Oh, I got some at Dick Connor's. Paid $50. A guy dipped it once, turn around, dipped it again, give me 2 big old wet joint. I furnished the joint. They do it with cigarettes.
Yeah. It's called wet.
Yeah. It's been around for years. It's just liquid. It's like liquid elephant tranquilizer is what it feels like. Good land. I smoked some of that. I felt like Gumby, man, like I could go all the way, bend over backwards. Oh, and it was in the middle of hot summertime. We ended up laying out there on a concrete slab for hours, man. Just, and the guard didn't even care. He wouldn't even look at us over. We was bad. Felt like I was dying. And the people helped us get back up to the cell. I had to go to work the next morning. And, boy, I struggled with that. And when I got back home, I was laying on that same concrete because it was cool. Because it was in the hot summertime, I was laying on the concrete for 2 more hours until they locked us back down at 2 o'clock when I got off at 11.
Did they regulate temperature in there?
No, there wasn't no air conditioner or nothing there. You just went however the weather. You like the fall.
Cold showers.
And in the wintertime, they had hot steam, like a little steam deal in there in your cell where you could crank it on. But it was be over in the corner, it was still, and that steam, man, it'd dry you out. You had to really, oh boy, you had to keep a window open if you was cranking steam.
Used to that, see?
Well, you just go through your house.
How'd you have a window?
Like a little crank in your cell.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a little crank deal. You might roll the flap out like that. Like it ain't no big full window, no.
Oh, it's just a lid.
Yeah, a little.
I was about to say, let me give you a window.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You definitely. Because the night they killed John Pierce, when they locked the yard down and put the crime scene tape up, OSBI come there, and within 3 hours it was declared a murder. And it was over, and they let us out by noon the next day. That's how violent this yard was. They didn't give a rat's ass. They let us out at noon the next day. The warden and the chief of security was up there walking around.
They're just like, oh, another murder.
Yeah. If they want to kill, then go ahead.
Yeah.
But they wheeled him by, and there was a cobblestone sidewalk right there. And when they was wheeling him, that gurney was bouncing.
Yeah.
And every time that gurney bounced, that bed sheet that they had over John would just get redder. Blood, they'd stabbed him so many times that the gurney was bouncing like that, and the blood would just kind of shoot up against that sheet. He went by just like I was looking right by, over on the N and Q. They killed him over on Q, but the sidewalk went right by N, and I'll never forget looking out that window down like that. And seeing John go by, he had a little old beard.
Yeah. Yeah, be careful. If you get too far away from the mic, it won't.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got it set up to where you just stay about that far.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, man. But the movement stuff is great. We love that for the visual. Shit, it's that visual alone would do bleeding and shit out.
Man. There was just so many deals like that. I seen a guy one time that got in a shower. He just got in a shower, and it ain't very wide, with a green, at Connors, green piece of shower curtain. And dude just happened to walk up there and just, I think he figured out that he was pretty much where he was at and just took a hell of a swing and knocked this dude out. And then just kept on frailing him, jerked the curtain out of the way and just beat the shit out of this dude. And that dude laid in that shower till they counted. I bet he was in there an hour and a half. Nobody said a word. Nobody seen nothing. This was Connor's day. Nobody seen nothing. And they finally, when the door was open to his cell and the guy wasn't there, you know what I mean, they found him in the shower.
Was he dead?
No, he wasn't dead, but I never seen him again. He went to medical, and sometimes they ship him people out.
What happened? Like, why did it go down like that?
Even, when they had that killing up there at Connors, it was such a violent event that they interviewed that whole building one at a time. The OSBI did. They come up there later and done some interviews when they was getting ready to take in people to court.
Yeah.
Offered people all kinds of deals and nobody took it. But this one guy they thought he might have did, and they stabbed him up and tried to kill him. One morning we couldn't.
They just thought he might?
They just thought he could. The Indians got him. The IBH got him. When they was bringing me up to the unit, they had already started walking me before the guard had time to tell him, hey man, there's a guy up here bleeding to death. They took a white bath towel, wrapped it around his neck, and wrenched it to where it'd be up against that cut, that stab, and it kind of kept the blood from just gushing out. And when I got up to the unit, that dude was slumped down and he was running out. But he had that crimped like that. And in the gurney, the medical people, as I was walking in, they was coming right behind me with a gurney to put him on the gurney and wheeled his ass up out of there. He lived. Damn. I don't know whether the guy told or not, but they stabbed the living shit out of him in the neck. Tried to kill him, yeah, and that was after the killing. There was an attempted killing because of the killing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that place was just promoted violence.
Sounded to me like the Indians were the most violent.
Yeah, they was. Out of the ones that I seen, the IBH was probably the most violent, notorious violent. Yeah. At any yard. I was at Stringtown, went from Stringtown from Connors, and it happened there too. It kicked off to where it was a killing that happened on the street. You might be familiar with it. There was an Indian got killed out here on the street. It was on the news.
Was this around 2010?
Yeah, a gang member.
I did hear about that. I was actually in Tulsa County Jail when that was going
Well, I was at Stringtown. It was in 2011.
2011.
And it broke off down there. It started at Connors. It started off on all the yards.
Damn.
IBH and Mexicans.
Yeah.
And there were stabbings, and people snapped padlocks onto belts, their belt, snap a padlock on there and then wrap it around your wrist and your hand with about that much. A padlock will knock the bark off of you.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
I've seen it happen many times.
But do or die.
And the best thing, man, when you're in there is just don't talk, don't say nothing. If they ship you somewhere to another yard, don't say a word. Stick to yourself, and however long it takes, it's just fine. Eventually, everything will come to you. Everything will come to you. That's how it's going to come to you. If you come in there trying to be somebody, boasting, you're this, you're that, you ain't going to be nothing very long. You know what I mean? It's best to stick to yourself for a while until you know what I mean, go with the flow. Because there's people there that ain't never going to get out. When I first got there, there was people that would say, I would trade my life sentence for your 285 years plus life. And I was like, good God. But they had a murder case, and they knew they wasn't never getting out to where they had been there long enough to see people slip through the cracks. Yeah. Sure enough, here come this drug deal. And it was just a one-time thing. As soon as they let a bunch of us out, one of the dudes killed somebody, and they stopped that program. Yeah. And they ain't let nobody out since for the whole 5 years. Stitt and him just because they was under fire for it. You know what I mean? Like, you just let this guy out and he killed somebody.
Yeah. What's the any celebrities that come through there, or any notorious
In federal
killers
prison, I seen
that met?
Tony Palomo, like the boot brand,
The boot brand.
Tony Lama.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh, I said Tony Palomo, but it wasn't him. It was the Tony Lama.
Yeah. What was he in for?
Oh, hey man, this guy had like a cult. He was something else. Like a big stretch limo would pull up full of women, and they were his wives. And he would sit with each woman for like 15 or 20 minutes, and they would sit there and kind of cry and whimper and hold him and this, that, and another. Then another one would get, and they'd bring in like 4 at a time. He had like a cult, kind of like the Branch Davidian type of thing, but he didn't go that far with it.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, but I was locked up with all kinds of any type of federal crime. You know what I mean? Just like all the people.
Did he? I mean, was he still making money off his boots?
Oh, I'm sure that part was still going. You know, he was just in there for some type of embezzlement or crime. There were so many people that I knew I was in the wrong business then. I don't know why I didn't snap to it, but white collar crime, they might get a bank for $2 or $3 million and get 3 years. I was out there selling dope, got caught with 4,500 and 4 ounces of meth, and was in there 10 years.
So many times I'll be like, man, if I robbed a bank and I could get out with $1 million, and they.
One of my cellies robbed a bank. One of the cellies did, and he learned a valuable lesson at this. As he cased out to where a Brinks truck would pull up to pick this money up at this business at a certain time every day.
I studied it.
Yeah, he studied it, and then he acted like somebody that was working on the back dock with a coat on, with a can of mace. And when this black driver got out and come back there to unlock the deal, he just run up and maced him. The dude grabbed the money, a bag full, and took off running. And that black dude pulled up and emptied his gun at the foot sounds and hit him.
No shit.
And hit him, struck him in the arm, and the bullet went up into his armpit and lodged. He run about another block and got up against a telephone pole and was bleeding to death. I'll never forget this guy. I lived with him up on the B3 run at Texarkana. I went to the minimum at El Reno from that cell. I was living with that guy when I went to a minimum.
Wow.
And yeah, that's how he got his time, robbed a bank. Now, he got 10 years for that.
Yeah.
He was a bank robber, and he was just a driver, but he got. That was
a bigger piece of
one of my workout partners. He done 10 years for just being a driver. Now, I met a lot of people in there. It was bank robbery and this, that, and another, and so many different people.
What are some of the ones that stick with you?
You know, another big loss that I took was when I first hit the Oklahoma County Jail. I met this guy named Victor Soto. He come from Leavenworth Federal Prison. He was involved with a doctor here from Oklahoma City, and they had a cocaine ring going here in Oklahoma City. He was selling cocaine. Well, this guy was a connection, this Victor Soto. Well, they had him down here for this doctor's trial. Come to find out, the guy was there to testify on him, but I didn't know it. And he told me he could put a certain amount of drugs here if I could come up with $5,000. I said, I had the money. I had money in the deep freeze. I had my family send $5,000. Yeah. Well, this guy come to me about 2 days later. He said, hey, man, I got some bad news. He said the driver got busted.
Oh, fuck.
Driver got busted. We've lost. There's no way we can recover. So I was sick about that. Laid on $5,000 in cash, plus whatever it took to send it.
Yeah.
Well, after that, I told this guy. Well, this guy that I told had done 13 years in Arizona State Prison. He said, well, we're not going to let this go. So when I told this guy that, I was unexperienced, just getting started in my first federal bit,
Yeah.
And he said, give me $2,000 and I'll let some air out of him. I said, well, there ain't no knives in here.
I'll let some air out.
Good land. This guy, when they was cleaning, they brought the cleaning supplies in. He took a Rubbermaid round toilet deal and just kept twisting it and twisting it and twisting it until the head come off, but he still had that much plastic handle, Rubbermaid plastic handle. And then it was a concrete block wall, and he just stood there and done that for like 3 hours till the end of it was just like a... Well, anyway, the next day this dude come up to me, and he was like, come in the cell, I want to show you something. Because I said, there ain't no knives in here, how you going to let some air out of him? That motherfucker took his mattress, he picked his mattress up and pulled that out of his waistband and went, boom, 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 stuck 3 holes in that mattress like it wasn't nothing. Big old 6-inch mattress, stuck a hole in it, and it was like, this thing is razor sharp. He said, I'll stab him for the money. So I'm thinking, oh my God, now I'm going to get somebody killed in here. Good God, what am I doing? So I thought, no, let's don't. He said, so you're going to have to, he said, you're going to handle it yourself, huh? And I said, yeah, I'm going to handle it myself. So I knew he had the knife, but I didn't really want to do that. So I chose another method. One morning they brought the cleaning supplies in, and they had a brand new handle for a big, wide floor mop, like a rug type one as wide, like they do a gymnasium floor with.
Yeah.
Well, this handle, brand new, they brought it in. Nobody was watching. I just grabbed it and went in my cell with it. Well, they had a little metal bar to where you could stick the wooden handle down, and it would be wedged against the wall. And when it got at the loudest point out there, I snapped that stick, wham! And this dude was sitting out there watching TV in the county jail like this. He was sitting there like this. And man, he was just like that. And I walked up, I kept the stick straight down. I got my nerve up. I thought, I'm not going to stab him, but this is how it's going down. I didn't weigh 150 pounds. Like I told you, I was 29 years old, weighed 150 pounds. So I get out there, hey man, I hauled off and whacked this dude. Cold whap! Hit him right in the ear. Hit him so hard that the threads off of the tool, off of the handle, the thread marks was in. He smashed his ear, kind of color flowered him. I whacked him again. Well, by the 3rd time I whacked him, he caught it. Whoom. Oh, shit. He's a big motherfucker. So the fight is on. I'm just holding on for dear life, because if he snatches his stick out of my hand, he's going to kill me. So I held on for dear life until the police got there. It took them, felt like a lifetime. I just held on and held. I held on to where blood was dripping on both of our tennis shoes. We both had white tennis shoes on.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And blood was dripping down the side of his head. And then they moved me to another floor and took him to medical and kept him there till his trial went on and went on. But I got beat for the money, but at least I whacked him in his ear. And I ended up running into that guy that told me that I was going to have to handle it. Yeah. At El Reno, when I got there, he was in reception. When he seen me, he was like, well, they went ahead and sentenced you. I said, oh, yeah, they got me good. You know, I was going on to federal prison then, that 135 months. That's a long time, because you got to do all those months.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
after you did that, at least you knew within yourself you had the...
Yeah, if I had to, I could do it.
You had the muster now.
Yeah, I could do it. I don't want to do it, but if...
That'll be a little bit of a relief.
Yeah, I can do it if I have to.
Yeah.
But there were so many different things throughout that whole sentence, man. It was just... It's unreal, you know, what a person goes through on a daily basis there, you know, and the things that you see, the things that goes on in there.
The type of people that you see.
Yeah.
Who's the most creative person who could just fucking MacGyver some shit?
Oh, they're there. There was people there.
They showed me one time when I was just in the county how to make a lighter. And it was out of a battery and a piece of wire from the
Oh, yeah, well, they take a pencil and 2 paper clips, pull the casing off, and then peel the wood back to the lead, and then tape the paper clips wide enough to go right inside the electrical socket. Mm-hmm. And you're going to attach a wire on the side of that plastic. It's going to have coated wire to the end of the pencil. It's inside there too. So when you plug this in, then you take this wire and just go over to the lead, and it'll go zzz, zzz, and make a spark. Mm-hmm. Then you take a toilet paper roll and make you a wick. Boom, that's how you get your light. And then you have a Coca-Cola lid. You put baby oil in there. And then if you're lucky enough to have a light bulb in your cell that has a chain, that little bell, you can take that bell off of there and set that bell, make a wick out of a piece of string. I get a piece of string off a rice bag in the kitchen, and then I have a candle. I didn't have to. I could set that candle inside my locker, and it'd run for an hour and a half off a little bit of baby oil.
Damn.
I'd have a lighter on Saturday when we would start smoking out. People come back from visit, and everybody had weed.
Yeah.
That's where I'd have the lighter. Yeah, I'd have the lighter over. I'd have it going right inside there, just off baby oil. Or you can use there's an ointment, A&D ointment that they give in state prison. It's like a yellow gel ointment, or salve, or anything that'll burn. Hair grease.
Anything.
Yeah, you can burn it with a wick. It'll burn.
Wow. That's. You got time on your hands. You think anything.
Oh man, yeah, but
whatever makes the time go by faster. You know?
There's just so many people in there. I mean, so many different walks of life. That's done whatever.
Yeah.
There's people in there that's committed murders that would never commit another crime. I know a guy that forgot something and drove back home, and there was a guy in there having sex with his wife. He grabbed a .357. They struggled out the door, and the guy got down on the ground. This guy took a .357 and shot him in the chest. And I knew the dude. His name was Dennis. Dennis told me, man, blood run out of the dude where I shot him out his back. It looked like a water hose, and the dude bled out within like a minute. Killed him. The dude got locked up, got a life sentence. I ended up meeting him later, years later in prison, and he never hurt a person. I mean, the guy was a murderer. He did kill someone, but he was the most kindest individual that you would ever be around. And he'd never gotten a fist fight in prison.
Just one mistake.
Yeah, well,
but
he
fall under the crime of passion law.
Well, he didn't on him for some whatever reason.
Damn.
Because my sister, whenever she was coming to see me at Oklahoma County Jail, their family would be out there, and she got to be friends with them because she come up there. I did quite a bit of time there in Oklahoma County.
Yeah.
235 days
tell everybody
altogether.
about Oklahoma County?
Oh, Oklahoma
Compare
County.
that to the prisons.
You'll be glad you got to prison. County jails are worse than prison.
Yeah.
Because prison, there's a little more movement. County jails is,
Stuck.
oh man, it's
You don't
rough.
know what's going on.
Oh, it's rough.
Because in prison, you know when you're getting out, if you're even getting out. But in county jail,
They couldn't get them. They couldn't get them to lock down up there in the county jail. Them lieutenants would come in there with German shepherds on a chain. They'd say, "We're going to say lock down one more time. That's it. You don't want to lock down." They took them German shepherds and let them off the chain. Them German shepherds would go up them steps. Whoom, whoom. Hey, them black dudes, they would lock down quick because that dog would be right there at the door.
Yeah, they're dicks, man.
Yeah.
We got locked down for like 3 days one time because of somebody told on one of the Indians for having meth, bringing drugs in there. And man, they locked us down for 3 days as punishment. And fucking, they lock us down for the stupidest shit. Not even big things, just dumb shit.
Well, it's a lot easier for them to control you if you're locked down. That's why they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to worry. They don't have to answer to you because you're locked down. They ain't got to deal with you. They're sitting up there looking in the phone or doing whatever.
Yeah.
That's why.
You could always tell whenever they got weed in the pod, too.
Yeah, it's laid down. See, that's one thing about Connor's yard. There was weed on that yard at any given time for $300 an ounce. At any given time, somebody had an ounce of weed for sale for $300 an ounce because they promoted that. I mean, to a certain extent. If they hear somebody got weed, they're not going to come tear your door down.
Right.
Or, they might come because they've been told to, but if you got your act together, you're going to pass the inspection.
Yeah.
Don't have it laying out. You can't
chill you out rather than
Yeah.
amping you up.
Yeah.
You know? Did you have any good hooch in there?
I've seen it made.
Yeah. You didn't drink any?
My baddest experience on that is we had a bag going, had it up in an acoustical ceiling, like that tile. They have metal strips, and then the tile will fit in there, the foam board or whatever ceiling.
Yeah.
Well, we took one down and then got up in there and hung a bag of hooch, and then put undid an ink pen, and put the tube in the bag so it could breathe. Well, a dadgum cockroach got in there and it clogged that hole up, and that bag swelled up, blew up, and come crashing down out of the ceiling, fermented, stinking hooch, smelled like somebody spilled 50 gallons of beer back there. Oh yeah, we had a big problem. Busted our spot. We had a good spot.
Yeah.
You take pineapple juice or orange juice and sugar and yeast or potatoes. Mix it together. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like it. I'm not much of a drinker, and I damn sure don't want to drink rotted fruit.
You ever seen that show Moonshiners?
Yeah.
You seen that show?
I've seen them. Oh yeah, on at Lawton they had the cable. They had the cable there where you could watch that. Yeah, and ginseng. They had it where ginseng.
Yeah, I seen them mix a bunch of cupcakes and shit together to make some sort of fucking cupcake flavored.
Vodka. Yeah, I like that show. I just like the different ways that they make it.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating. Of course, they weren't able to distill it. You know, you'd have to just drink the mash.
Yeah.
God, I can imagine that shit.
Yeah, in state prison there for a while, that was the babysitter was TV and cable. They had cable. Well, then they took the cable in 2011. And when I went to Stringtown down there, they took it.
Did they do the fucking captions on the TVs?
Yeah. They had that set up too on some of them.
I couldn't watch TV when I was in the captions.
At Lawton, when you was locked down out there on the wall, I couldn't really see them from where I was at, but all the people on the wall up there could see it. You could see a TV, but you couldn't really hear it.
Yeah.
You know, or read the caption from that distance. But they had two big monster TVs inside the pod. Like you could just stand out there in the pod and watch football. I had some fun there at Lawton on their sports deal. They had a wide variety. There ain't no MMA or boxing or none of that. No. None of that. There ain't none of that going on.
No. Hell no. He'd be a fucking...
That's why all that was so new to me when I went out there to Buffalo. You know, it was so new to me because I hadn't been around the MMA experience, you know.
Yeah.
They all know all this fighter, this. I didn't know him from Adam. Who's who, Conor McGregor or, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
But now, after being there for a while, I've kind of learned more about it.
Tell everybody real quick, this is outside of the prison story, but tell everybody about the time that dude got shot at Buffalo. My girlfriend was there when he said he was going to bring a gun.
Well, I went into the bathroom. There was a guy that I lived at Country Creek Apartments with. He was a black dude. He lived down there on the corner. He was there, and I was in the bathroom. When I got done washing my hands, I turned around. He had a spoon and a bottle of cocaine and said, "Here." It was the first time in my life that I ever turned it down. I turned it down. I said, "I can't, man. I'm working and I don't know what." I just didn't do it. Well, later on, about an hour later, after being back there, somebody kept coming and saying, "Man, there's some problems out there out front. There's a dude got a gun. Said he's going to go get a gun or something and come back in and shoot the place up." And you know, everybody started going into coolers and this, that, and another. And the guy went out there to get a gun. Well, I went out back. I seen the manager and another guy go out back. And they just went out there and got in their vehicle for a second. I don't know what they was doing, talking, getting on the phone, doing whatever, taking care of business, whatever. I don't know. But while I was standing there at the back of his truck, I heard pop, 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 pop. And I heard a woman screaming bloody murder. I mean, what I thought right then and there was that those people was leaving and then just turned around at the place and fired off. And it struck a woman in the leg. That's what I was envisioned. So I ran around the truck and ran through the cars and ran up on this woman that was screaming like bloody murder.
What were you going to do when you got
And when I got within 5-6 foot of the dude, blood was running from him a foot to a foot and a half and moving on and had a white foam out in front of it. And I knew the guy was dead. I'd seen so many people in prison dead. But here's the shocking part. The dude, I mean, blood run out of him for several feet. I turned around and walked back in and told him, "Man, you don't have to worry about that guy bringing a gun in here. Hey, he's dead." Come to find out, within 10 days, the guy walked out of the hospital. The people that shot him was the cartel. The police had been looking for him. Once they got on the security cameras and got to looking, they was like, "Hell, we've been after them people for a long time. They come, this, you know, they was on them then."
Yeah.
But then,
so what was the dude?
What it was one of the kingpins from Mexico. They was out there. These guys, this black guy was kind of dating his sister. They was selling cocaine for him. Mm-hmm. That's what it was, like a cocaine distributor up here. Well, I didn't know. I knew the dude did something. He was living there and didn't work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He was a car flipper. That's what
he didn't flip a car. I've never seen one down there. He was selling cocaine.
Yeah.
They was. That guy, they tried to give me some, but I didn't want to do it. Well, anyway, when the guy got shot, it was because of the Mexican dude's sister. The guy slapped her. She was acting up in there, got drunk, and the black dude slapped her. And he told him, "Don't ever slap my sister again." And went out there and
The black dude slapped her?
The black dude slapped him. The kingpin's sister, and boy, they shot that guy. Tried to kill him, shot him right through the neck and in the head. Shot him in the head and through the neck, through. And he lived, walked out of there. Yeah.
The one that lived in Country Creek got shot.
No, it was another dude. It was a dude they was with. They was wearing green. They was wearing green. I don't know if that's the green team or whatever, but they was definitely.
Wow.
They was definitely
I've been in that
involved.
Doing music. We were doing music and shit.
It followed in like a prison type of thing, though. You know what I mean? That's why I just walked through. I was just like, well, that's another day at the office, you know.
Buffalo.
What it seemed like, yeah.
It brought back memories.
Oh yeah, just from the way it happened. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, drugs was involved and stuff going bad. You know what I mean? It's just all goes together. Best to stay away from that stuff.
Have you ever? Well, no. Have you ever just been laying back and then I guess have you ever been in a riot or seen a riot happen or almost happen or?
Well, I'll tell you what, I have been in a situation to where there was different gang members in a pod. Well, it's hard. They might have them on the other side of the prison, but somehow they would work their way down through there, and then the door would open and they would end up in this pod like trying to stab somebody, or they would just work their way through it. They would just, a lot of times they get caught, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. So
this time there was like 3 of them.
Would they just keep getting into fights until they got moved into the pod that they were?
Well, no, not there, because they kept them. They was on. They had a STG, Security Threat Group, that was just a team of dudes that was just on gang members there. It was on the gangs there hard. So it was really a tough deal. Well, I come out of the cell and I seen a couple of my buddies had their back against the wall. So I went. I didn't even go over to them. I just put my back against the wall, and it was. You could just feel it. You could feel the tension. No time at all. They were stabbing, fighting, gang banging right then and there. They come in and sprayed every single person standing. When they come in, they said, "Get down." Even if you wasn't involved and you were standing, they was macing you. Man, I went straight to the cell, and I had a big long white sock that I'd come up like a medical sock. And for diabetic some kind of way. And man, I took that sock and got it wet and then just wrapped it around my face and my nose and my face. And I didn't choke out as bad as a lot of them, because man, when they mace a pod down, you are going to be choking and having wheezing and problems.
Shit, I got arrested on a DUI.
Cause that's some wicked stuff.
I was out at Cherokee County. I was at the river. We were floating. And I got a DUI, or not DUI, public intox. So I'm sitting in there, and of course there's a bunch of other drunk motherfuckers that were on the river, right? And we're in a drunk tank, and there's probably 12 of us in a small little fucking, I can't remember if it was 8x10s. Pretty sure they're 8x10s up there. Anyway, this one dude pissed on this other guy. And the other dude was laying next to me, probably 2 feet away from me. His piss didn't get on me, nothing like that. But I remember rolling over looking, and this dude is just wet, and he's laying in a puddle, and this dude is standing over a piss, and I was like, what the fuck? Guards rushed in there. They grabbed the dude that pissed on the guy. The guy was passed out. He didn't know what was happening, right? Or at least he was acting like he didn't. So they pulled this guy out, and right outside the door, I sit and watched him just beat the fuck out of this. They beat the life out of him almost, dude. He was limp after they were done with him. And these are the cops there. There was like 6 of them just stomping, punching, boom, boom. Anyway, they both grabbed his limp ass body. He's all bloody and swollen and shit. They opened the door, threw him back in there, and then just to be dicks, maced the drunk tank. Everybody in there, and shut the door.
Boy, stuff's so wicked.
I tell you, for 10 hours, we were coughing.
They had
my lungs were about to get out of my fucking body.
They had pipes in the ceiling there at Lawton, but you didn't know what they was till they dropped the gas.
Oh, no shit.
Bloop, bloop, like several places, to cover every strategic place in that pod. They could demobilize that pod no time at all by dropping canisters down. Game over. Dude, I've even seen them come in with a tank about this big and drop the whole tank on a dude.
What?
Yeah, that hit a guard.
Oh, fuck.
And wouldn't lock down, wouldn't lock, cuff up, it's like, you just got to come and get me. Oh, they come and got him. They opened that bean hole and emptied that whole tank on the dude.
Fuck.
About demobilized him.
You don't fuck with the guards, I hear.
No.
Up there. I don't care how bad you are, you do not fuck with the guards.
Even at Lawton, that was the only place I seen where they hit the guards.
Damn.
Unless it was in jail. Now, there'd be altercations there, but as far as out on the yard, out in the open, boy, at Lawton, it's liable to happen. A dude would hit a woman there, a woman guard. There was no ethical rules there about it.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, like break their jaw and try to elephant man them. That kind of stuff.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why?
People with life sentences, like being a situation where they might have been talking to her about bringing something in, and she didn't do it for that dude, but did it for that guy over there. Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
And then they want to fuck that guy up too, probably.
Well, her too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, her first, and then probably him.
Yeah, didn't care about that.
What you got that I don't have it?
This all kind of stuff, man. You got to keep your business to yourself in prison, man, as much as you can. It's so hard. It's just like being on a battleship.
Yeah.
Just there's no difference. No secrets at sea. No secrets in there unless you got to keep them.
Yeah, or somebody will find out somehow.
No, man. I've walked up on so many different things, man. I walked up on a guy one time. He was standing there looking out the window, and I was coming to get his celly that we was going to work out. But he was on a visit, and I didn't know it. He'd got a visit, and he didn't come by and tell me. He just went to visit. And there was this Mexican dude that was a badass dude. That they had a big weight bag hanging, and this dude would always be punching that bag and fighting and kicking it. He was like an MMA dude. He was down on his knees giving that other dude head. And the other guy was a homosexual. He done some legal work for me, and he was kind of smart. He'd been locked up 30 years. Yeah, he was.
Why was he giving him head? What was
He was just a homosexual.
the MMA fighter guy was?
He could have been an MMA. I mean, he was that type of guy. Somebody you would never expect that.
And he just
Like I would walk up on it, but then if I told,
So you seen with your eyes?
I walked up on it and jerked the door open. I was like, oh my God, ease the door, and then they're worried about me telling everybody. I'm not going to tell nobody because my friend, if I tell him, he's probably going to kill you. You know, that my friend lived with this homosexual. I didn't know if they had anything going on or what. That wasn't my business.
Right.
This dude, we were just smoking partners and working out and listen to the radio, listen to Commode from Tulsa. KMOD is what they had there at Connors.
97.5.
Yeah. And so just, I mean, you just see so many things. You just act like you don't. The best is don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. You're going to have a better time at it.
Yeah.
Don't
Speaking
say-
of homosexuals,
Loose lips sink ships, and then it does.
I've heard stories in a YouTube podcast. They said that over the years, like used to, there weren't a lot of punks in there, and like people would, there's a lot of more. hard
Well,
arts
in
that go
federal
on.
prison, I've seen homosexuals with titties. Like they would already have the breast implants, and then they would have a tuck job. Be like, already had it whacked and had a tuck job.
Yeah.
They would get caught doing a crime, and they would lock them up. Well, there they are. Somebody's got tits. I seen a girl or a dude playing tennis. I thought was a girl. I thought, what the hell? Couldn't find out it was a homosexual.
Playing tennis.
Yeah, one night I was in the shower. They had six shower stalls, and these were singles in federal prison. They didn't do like state and put you in a cage. But the shower come open. I'm toweling off, getting ready. The shower slipped over enough, and Angie was the punk's name, showed me her tits. Well, I mean, I started getting my shit. I need to get the fuck out of here. I don't feel comfortable with it. And, you know, it's like she was trying to get a date for the evening. Like, you want to come over and we'll do whatever. No. But there was people that had been there long enough that knew when that motherfucker went to the shower that was the game. Try to catch some new people. Yeah. Well, they would be people out on the rail watching to see how long. I mean, I come peeling out of there. I was still wet, dripping, had left some of my shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm leaving up out of I didn't feel comfortable. People was laughing out on the rail because I passed that test, you know.
You never lived that one.
Oh, man, I've seen just all kinds of stuff, man.
Never would have lived that one down, boy. That's how you've been known. Oh, man, titties.
These ones look like $5,000 ski slopes. It's the damnedest thing. I mean, a person would ever want to, you couldn't believe it. It's in the middle of a sex change. Federal prison had people in there like that. Yeah. Now, state prison, the punks could fight. Some of the best fighters were homosexuals. I guess because they had to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a white boy one time. His name was Ronnie from Tulsa. He was left-handed. He was a fighting son of a bitch. I seen this dude fight, man. This dude could fight. He could sling them, knock people down steps and just get them. One day, I was over at the house. I had some really good speed at the time. I was selling it. And everybody had went to chow. They'd called chow, and there was a knock on the door. Well, I had a piece of cardboard up in there because I was trying to do something. I didn't want somebody just to walk up and be able to look, see what I was doing. I was packaging up some shit. And well, I'd gotten done, but I forgot to take that cardboard down. Well, I heard tap, tap, tap on the door, so I thought, fuck. I slid it open, and it was Ronnie. He didn't have nothing on but a bed sheet. Had a bed sheet wrapped around him and looked like took Kool-Aid and made lipstick and had it stuck on his lips and was, you want a date for the evening or something? I was like, fuck no, Ronnie, get out of here, man. I mean, it just stuff like that. Just even no matter how many years went by, I just couldn't do that. You know, never fagged off one time.
Good for you.
Just, you know what I mean? Just that ain't for me. But it goes on in there a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Relationships.
Gay for the stay is what I've heard they claim. They go, they're not gay on the outside, but on the inside.
And then there's in federal prison, the gangs that couldn't go on like that. But in state prison, almost all the gangs, it was accepted. There was a few of the black gangs that would not allow that.
Yeah. That's crazy, the difference.
Yeah. Well, it's just the people that they deal with. I mean, it's just the caliber of people, but so different. Chiropractors, white-collar crimes in federal prison, bankrupt people with intelligence that had to be smart to start with to even commit their crime. To where state prison, good God, there's people that picked up a baseball bat and hit somebody in the head and killed them, or heinous crimes, killing kids. You know what I mean? Just everything under the sun. There's people on death row probably going to die, I think, this week because a guy killed a 10-year-old girl and raped her and stuff. Been fighting it for 20-some years. Yeah. They're going to kill him, I think, if the governor don't step in by Thursday morning.
Who's they? The state or the prisoners?
Well, the state. Like I say, the governor. I had a good friend. His name was Rick. A drug deal went bad here on the south side of Oklahoma City, and a gun got drawn, and they wrestled. The gun went off. This guy died. They got Rick, give him a life sentence, give him a death sentence. Shit. Brad Henry was the governor at that time, back in the day, and they'd already give the guy his last meal and put a diaper on him. They was fixing to kill him. Mm-hmm. And within the last 20 minutes, the governor called Brad Henry, stopped him. He was 20 minutes within getting lethal injected. Had a diaper on already.
Damn, you lucked out. What did they do after that? You just continue with a life sentence, or?
Yeah, he was man, I met him in the county jail. He was fought his case for so long, and I sent some coffee and a candy bar down to him. All I knew is there was a white boy down there that come from McAllister. So I'm thinking, man, I'm probably going to McAllister. I sent him some coffee. Well, one day we was cooking grits at Granite years later, and I thought, man, there's something about this guy. I couldn't believe it. Why can't I figure out who you are? And one day I was stirring the grits, and he was working down there panning it up. And I just said, man, was you ever in the Oklahoma County Jail? And he said, yeah. I said, up on the 12th floor where they keep all the people life sentences? Yeah. I said, that was me that sent that coffee and that candy. He just stood up. He said, man, brother, this is a small world, ain't it? I mean, that happened for real.
Yeah.
Like I'd give him that stuff at the county and then ended up, and I did years with him, went on to do some drug deals with him and had stuff smuggled in with him. And, you know, when all this happened to me, is it over with? Is it over?
Well, we're going to stop with this one now, but next time, whenever you want to come over,
Man, we'll have to do this a lot. I mean, you can ask me, well, I'm getting stiff. My hip joints is hurting.